Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest, and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
TalkTainmentRadio.com. We go where you go, the world's greatest radio. And you're in touch with Wiggins, World of Wellness. And I'm Stacy Wiggins, and this is radio the way it should be heard. Today, I have a very interesting topic, perspective, for you to consider. The whole topic today, it won't be whole topic, but what really got me started was the whole opiate drug addiction that we are currently experiencing. And I tried to just look at it, be on the sidelines, and like, yeah, I see what's going on. It's really horrible. It is horrendous that this many amount of people are using them or are hooked on them or whatever the challenge is. But even more so, that got me pissed off, got me ticked, got me angry. And I don't want to remember the doctor's name, but there is a doctor here in town in Columbus, Ohio, that has been recently on the news and has, let's straight up say it. He's killed people. He's killed many people in his care at a certain hospital here in the Columbus area. And it's just another one of those, oh my God, people shaking, waking up their consciousness. Does it have to become this bad? Does it have to become this blatant that human life is, not much worried about, not much cared for? That we are at this point in time that we are hooked on drugs that take and suck the very life out of us? So I'm thinking, wow, how can I chime in on this? How can I rant on this? How can I find some solutions, not just going off at the mouth and saying, well, there's these numbers and percents in this neighborhood and that neighborhood. Hey, we all are dealing with a common challenge, and that's pain. It really is. And this pain really has not been defined, because, you get, the doctor may take a report and say, well, what kind of pain is it? And it's a stabbing pain, doc. It's a numbing pain, or it's a kind of dull aching pain, or funny, sometimes it just feels funny. Well, those are all symptoms of pain, but pain itself. All right, sit down, stand up, grab a pencil, grab a pen. We're going to break some things down today that they're going to blow your mind, because it is this simple. We have been brainwashed in a big way to think it's so complicated, so impossible, that health in of itself is like, it's a mirage out there. Someday we'll get there. But health it's natural. It should be an everyday event, an expected event, a common sense event. But look at society today. Woo! It is far from that. So, drum roll please. Bam! Define pain. Here it goes. It is so simple. And I want you to understand where I'm coming from, because I have for over 30 plus years, worked on people, body work, massage, worked on people's pains, okay? Their muscular chronic tension. Now, I burnt my hand, and I need to mention this because that's a different kind of pain. An accident, some kind of immediate trauma, that is an acute pain. I'm really here to address the chronic pain that most of us go through after a fall, an injury, an operation, the inability for the body to bounce back, and thus we need some help with some drugs, but we stay stuck on that. So that's the category. That's the area I'm trying to address here. But in all people's areas, all people's pain, this formula is true, and it's true from the very first day that I thought about this, well over 20 years ago, and even more true today. There's just more evidence, and the evidence is everywhere. It's abundantly apparent that pain equals less of oxygen or no oxygen. So pain equals reduced oxygen. Yeah. Wow. Woohoo! Get a Nobel Peace Prize for that. Well, here's the deal. Whenever you can get oxygen to the area, which means also blood flow to the area, you bring in the healing components to make that happen. However, when you do not have the oxygen to go in, as well as the nutrients, to repair, regenerate, supply the area, the broken shoulder, hip, ankle, or just poor eyesight, if you do not have the available minerals, the available raw materials for your body to regenerate better, it's not going to happen. But more importantly, if you do not have the levels of oxygen to even have your body perform at such a level, that's not going to happen. So let me unfold this for you. And this is why when you listen to people that have done something for very many years, oftentimes they kind of sound like they're going to go overboard. Well, come overboard with me, because it's so apparent that we do not understand this, but it's right in front of our faces. So from my perspective, doing body work on people, addressing their tightnesses, their pains, their ills, I've had, well, we won't say 100% success rate, but such a high percent success rate of the reduction of pain by the releasing of the tight muscle, the releasing of the tight tendon, the joint. It's really apparent that when you can increase the flow of blood, chi, energy, nutrients, and whisk out the toxins that were accumulated in there because it was a traffic jam, couldn't get things in, couldn't get things out. So these toxins that accumulate also create an environment that's very acidic, that's very irritating. So now the nerves are being irritated. Well, here's what's going on. Pain equals lack of oxygen. Pain equals nerve irritation. Pain equals less than full life vitality. So let's say if you held your breath, after 2 minutes, you'd be in a lot of pain. You'd be gasping for air. Your whole body would be shouting out, oh, give me some air. So you don't want to, caught me off guard. So that air is pretty important, as you can see, because if you don't have it, you're dead. But if you have a little less of it, there's a level of pain that's associated with it. So here's the caveat. I could just close on the show just in 5 minutes, but we're going to unfold this so you can have a much better base understanding why I have been out of pain for over 5 years. Pretty much, well, pain-free of chronic pain, but you have your bumps, your bruises, your overworking of some muscles, and some acute pain, but not chronic pain. I have throughout my life managed to identify, rectify when possible, and balance out through other techniques, whether it be nutrition or body movement or balancing of the brain or anything that's going to be on the beneficial side of healing the body, as opposed to taking a look at the negative side of the the negative side of our culture and all the things that are involved with the demise of our health. It's a big chapter. It's a big, actually it's a book. So when we go into pain, we have responses. Usually it's less breathing. It's a tightening up of the injured area, or it's a reduction of flow. And this is a natural process, because oftentimes when you are hurting something, you want to bring it in close to your body so you don't re-injure it. However, when you leave it there in that tight state, then you begin to create postural stress, or once again, lack of flow of energy. And Being that we are overly tight, the tension that creates this lack of oxygen, and the other aspect that I've addressed in the past, and I think it kind of sometimes it's like noodles. Sometimes it sticks on the wall, and other times the whole idea just slides off the wall. That our alkaline acid lifestyle makes all the difference. So here's the equation. Pain equals lack of oxygen. Pain-free equals, check this out, alkaline and flexibility, or full flow of life's energy. Here's why. It's very, very simple. Every time you are in the flow, you are in a state. This state is less resistance. It's full energy. It's vitality. It's energy coursing through your body, through your veins, and through your brain, through your mind. You are sharp. You're acute. You are like on it, and you could do several things, at 1,000 miles. But that's a state of flow. Oftentimes we are not in this state of flow and do drugs or do whatever it is to try to get to that state of flow, where actually it's a natural state to have. It's just, what have we done to shut off this state, and what have we invested in to deny ourselves to regaining this state of flow? So it's the same thing. What have we done to get into this pain culture, and what can we do to get out of this pain culture? Because it's certainly apparent more drugs is not the answer. Oh, here's another fun fact and figure that I ran across. I'm not going to verify it. Probably doesn't need to be verified. But here in America, we're number one, maybe? Yeah, number one in armaments and war and warring in other countries. But where are we in literacy? Where are we in teaching our children through adults? Where are we? Somewhere in the late 50s. So more than 50 other countries have a higher literacy rate than the people that have the hand on the button. Okay? Is that crazy? I think it's crazy. We've got the strongest might and power, but our brain power, it's a little weak. No, you're way out of balance there. So, let me tie this back into our opioid crises. We are out of balance in so many different ways, and we're so locked into that chronic pain state that we're willing to try, we're willing to sacrifice sometimes our very own lives, unknowingly. Here's what we can do. We can start to address pain by giving it its new definition. Pain is the result of less oxygen, less flow of energy through whatever area. Now, oftentimes you might not feel pain in the reduction of your liver flow. But what is pain called when it's in your heart? Remember that? It's called myocardial infraction. What does that even mean? Myocardial infraction. Well, here's what it means. Myo is muscle. Cardio is the muscle of the heart. And infraction, you know what? Don't have to look that word up, because in and fraction simply means a less than whole amount. So you have myocardial infraction. Myo, muscle, heart, infraction, less than. You get a pain because you are without oxygen, without blood flow. And when I say without oxygen, I am also meaning it's synonymous to without proper blood flow. Many times in the past I've referred to how important our blood flow is, and it's really amazing to find out that we all have a certain amount of blood in our bodies. And I calculated it out to be that the amount of blood I have, which is pretty similar to everyone else, it weighs approximately 35 pounds. So I have a lot of fluids on me. Supposedly we're 60, 70, some maybe 80% fluid. So if I am, let's do the math, it's going to be simple. I drink a lot of water, so we'll make the math easy. I'm 80% hydrated. I have 80% water. So 35 pounds minus 200, we'll do the simple math, I'm actually about 210, but 35 pounds minus 200 would give me 165, okay? So minus the blood that's in my body, my body would weigh 165 pounds. Okay, follow me here. The rest of the fluid, which would still be 80% of 165 pounds, which if we did the math, how many pounds is that? Maybe about 130 pounds. So 130 pounds remaining once the blood is taken out is the lymphatic system. It's our waste system. It's our interstitial fluid. Okay? Let me bring this to you. We are filled with toxins and waste. But every time you cut yourself, it's like blood's the first thing to come out. It's like, how's that work? I don't know. It's crazy. But we have way more lymphatic tissue, waste tissue, toxins. It's called inflammation, mucus, all these different terms. We have way more than the amount of blood coursing through our bodies. So it is most important that we have our removal system, our lymphatic system, our cleansing of the body, of all the organs, which is separate from your immune system and your digestive system, but it's certainly intricately involved. So we have this huge amount of fluid that we need to get moving around in order to get waste products out. When the waste products don't go out, what happens? We call it arthritis. We call it inflammation. We give it certain names because if it's recent, it's inflammation. If it's been there for a couple years, it's arthritis. No. It's all the same thing. An accumulation of toxins, of maybe parasites, but things that are reducing the flow of energy, reducing the flow of blood. This creates pain. It hurts. It's painful. Oh, every time I move it, it hurts. So you don't move it, which, of course, isn't helping the situation. So now we have ourselves riddled with pain, riddled with toxins. We're not breathing much, and we're now starting to figure out, oh, I have to be whatever is called alkaline, which is a state of health, actually. You can reverse all of these symptoms. You can get out of pain. You can be pain-free. It's really not that complicated. It's really not that hard. It's just where we have come from and how committed we are in our brains. We make it hard up here. I tell people all the time, I can change the dynamics of your body. I can get you pain-free in between hours to days, but it's your brain, it's your mind, it's your habits that are going to flip you right back to it. So there's the learning part. That's the learning curve, that when you understand that, man, I need to change my body. No, the change needs to occur at a higher level, even spiritually. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So the cultures who demonstrate non-addictive behaviors. What cultures were non-addictive cultures? Well, most of the indigenous, natural-born people to the land did not have anywhere near the level of addictedness that we are currently experiencing. So what, Stacey? Do I go out and hug a tree and I get things done and, take care of business? And no, that's not what I'm saying. However, if you turn around and scratch your back on a tree, that's very helpful. But when you reintegrate nature into your life, you soon start to slow things down so you can see things for what they are, start to deduce things, start to deduct how it is you are so involved in your own demise. Yes, I said it, and I mean it. I tell people that they're highly invested in their own demise, and I get this kind of blank look, or you can see the computer's going, but it's like highly invested. Well, here's exactly what I mean. Say, great example, cigarettes. If you're going to smoke cigarettes, we know that cigarettes are not healthy for you, and yada, yada, yada. But the investment that it takes to go out and buy them, spend money, and then smoke them, that's, you're doing something there. However, if you were to stop that habit, cold turkey or with some type of help, and pick up a habit of deep breathing on the ball, increasing the lung capacity of your diaphragm, you actually would save money because you are no longer investing in a item that's killing you, and you would be increasing once you buy a ball, $35, and you would be increasing your vitality and decompressing your spine at the same time. Now that deal, You can't get a better deal than that. You drop a habit, you pick up a habit. Both are weighing in on your life. Which one are you going to choose? Because your body is always ready, willing, and wanting to heal. Just how invested are we in preventing that to occur? So, back to this opioid problem. We're not healing. We're always in constant pain. And when I use the word constant, I heard that opioids are constipating. They reduce the flow of toxins that go out of your body. So you want to scratch your head. It's like, okay, Stacy just explained that accumulation of toxins is pretty much the number one reason why we're in pain. And now we're going to take something that's going to even further reduce my ability to eliminate these toxins? That just doesn't make sense. Come on. So here's what happens. When you become alkaline, and what do you mean by alkaline, Stacey? Well, you look at our lifestyle. Our current lifestyle is food choices are very acidic. When we eat these foods, our body becomes even more acidic. We have problems digesting, we're burping, we're gassing, and the food is not being broken down properly. One of the byproducts of improper digestion is a higher acid level throughout your body. This causes, well, let me back up. A Nobel Peace Prize winner, Paul Wahlberg, in 1939, I believe, he worked for Hitler, proved one point. And it's a openly known point, and it's been discussed many times, and I've said it a few times myself, that in an alkaline environment, health exists. In an acidic environment, disease pretty much is able to exist. So when your body is in a level of high oxygenation, green leafy foods, eating foods that are going to raise your vitality, then you're existing in an alkaline state. Now, then this alkaline state, your body is recovering, repairing, regenerating so much faster. And it's going after those old joints that have that old accumulated material, and it's breaking it down. It's letting it out. Your freedom of your joints begin to really kick in. And then with increased stretching, you become aware that tension, inflexibility is the supporting factor to your pain. Yes. So that tension, that inflexibility is a very much of a key component that reduces your blood flow, that reduces your oxygenation, that reduces your exchange for good nutrients in, bad waste products out. Tension, tightness. So, understanding that, working on people for thousands of people for many years, that's the conclusion that I've come up with. And because not only myself, many of my clients and friends who have taken some degree of my advice are living also a pain-free lifestyle, it makes pretty doggone easy sense to figure out pain equals a lack of oxygen, a reduction of flow of energy. And I learned that through working on muscles, on trigger points, on tightnesses. That transferred to my own knowledge of working on my tightnesses, my chronically held areas, which once discovered and alleviated, then catapulted me to a level of flexibility that I've never had in my life. I am more flexible today at age 57 than I have ever been in my life, and that's an easy statement to say. So you have a choice. You really do. You can lead a life of pain. You can lead a life of acidic, cultural, hip things to do. You know, one time I found myself in German Village, just about well over 30 years ago. But I was into the nutritional understanding of everything that I do is going to have a consequence. I was in some bar listening to a band, sipping on my second beer, some kind of Canadian beer, because I thought it needed to be fancy with it. Now I'm thinking, okay, I spent so-and-so $2.50, I don't know what it was, on this beer, and now I got to go home and spend a little more money on taking some vitamin C and maybe some digestive enzymes or a probiotic to offset the alcohol that I'm drinking. And it really kind of just, it's that proverbial board over the head. Stacy, what are you more invested in? Are you invested in your demise? We're out to have a good time, drink some alcohol. Or are you invested in the building of your health and the securing of your future health by micromanaging your every move? Not micromanaging so much as observing what it is that you're doing. So that is part of the lessons that you learn along the way, is you become your best friend. You start to look at yourself and laugh at yourself. Look at that. I'm spending this amount of time dealing with this problem or the person or the situation where you could possibly just put it to the side or no longer invite that into your life. And that is where you find your energy, is recovering it. You always produce energy. We are energetic human beings, but if we are being vampirized, and if we are being so tight that the cost of tension is killing you, the vampire, as I meant to say, parasites. There's human parasites, and there's also real small micro bug parasites. But the bottom line, a parasite is pretty much zapping energy from you, taking the food that you feed yourself first and kind of pooping in the corner, leaving it more toxic than not. So a parasite is something that is very depleting, very exhausting in life. And if you cannot get rid of them, they will kill you. It's simple as that. And on the way to that death, it's just ugly. It's just ugh. It's So let's see here. Let me flip the idea here real quick. Where are we now? All right, so we defined what pain is, and we're talking mostly about chronic pain. Pain that's been over a long period of time, pain that's developed into a tight shoulder problem, a tight hip problem. This type of pain that later on down the road, 10 years, 20, 30 years down the road, you end up having hip replacements or knee replacements or joint replacements because you have compressed this area, reduced the flow of energy, a blood flow of oxygen. And so in essence, you have just destroyed a part of your body by being super tight. Seriously, it's no more complicated than that. The excessive tension that we carry, the tightness, the muscles that are always tight are crushing our very structure. Many chiropractors, medical doctors, they'll put up an x-ray up on there and say, all right, see, Mr. Jones, yeah, it looks like your T8, T9, your thoracic cavity's you got bulging disc. Well, I'd be like, hey, doc, wait, time out. How does one get a bulging disc? Give me that. If I'm going to reverse something, first at least let me know how I got there. And if they can't supply the answer, you need to find it elsewhere. Really, really do. So that's the same thing with the pain. Hey, doc, how did I get this pain? What circumstances, what environment must be involved for me to be in this perpetual pain? Because let's face it, God made me, and God didn't intend for me to be in pain all my life. At least that's the choice I'm making. Now, some of us think we need to be in pain. Whew, that's a deep issue. But we'll just leave it at that for now. So the desire to eliminate these signs of pain, we've often gone to take a pill. Give me a solution. Give me I don't want to understand it. I don't want to be responsible for my pain. I just want to get rid of it. It ain't going to happen. Until you understand and study your life and require those observations to see where you are responsible, you will not figure out how to be pain-free. It's pretty simple. Because the math is real simple. Pain equals lack of oxygen. Pain equals an acidic lifestyle. It is that simple. But we've been brainwashed by Big Pharma. And we were, check this out, we were taught to shun nature, shun grandma's natural, cod liver oil cures. We were taught to shun anything that really had the connection with us and nature. And, well, the medical doctor's got a little something for you. And it's like, okay, well, what's that made of? Well, a pharmaceutical drug, by definition, has petroleum distillates in it, has petroleum byproducts in it. A pharmaceutical drug, by definition, has a LD50, a lethal dose of 50%. So that's how they figure out how much you can take, because it's going to kill you. I'll tell you what, let's come back to that pharmaceutical approach, because that's part of why we are where we are today in our painful, painful time to be on this planet. And it doesn't have to be that way. Here at TalkTainmentRadio.com, we go where you go. Check us out on 94.1 WGRN. Podcasts are available. Download TalkTainmentRadio.com app to your cell or tablet. That's radio the way it should be heard. Stay right there. More answers to our challenges of today here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.